Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to the Bulldog football edition of Extra Point. In the studio again, head coach Ryan Nourse. I still see you as number 3.
That's funny. Well, I'm glad somebody does.
I remember those days. That part of my elderness has not gone away. I still remember number 3. So, but let's get right to it. Football win, 42-30. In Dickinson, and I have to say that after halftime, I was a little on the nervous side as I was watching that game, and I would have loved to have been a fly in the wall in the locker room. All kinds of mistakes, 5 turnovers and everything else. As a coach, you were saying, "What the heck is going on?" But then again, when they score all their points in the first half, and they score in a short field, then it's I guess the word would be just interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't really experienced that for a really long time, maybe once or twice before in my career, but not necessarily when you have a good team. So it was a strange first half. Probably, I know for a fact, it's a half that could have been avoided by just a few items, but when we made it through, and then we played up to at least our standard in the second half, and were able to come away with a win.
Well, you basically reversed everything that happened to the Bulldogs in the first half happened to Dickinson State in the second half. I mean, Rob's defense came out and played a shutout. Your offense got untracked, and no mistakes were made.
Yeah, that's that's more of our brand of football and how we do things. So we just this season, this team has been a little bit more of a challenge in terms of coaching through the details and getting them prepared, especially on the road, to come out and to execute the simple assignments consistently all the way through the game. So we're getting great effort, and the guys are believing and still battling, but we're skipping the details that need to be made for success. So we're going to continue to work on that. And that's been the focus again all week. This week is just getting down to the nitty gritty and taking care of your business.
It's always the little things that can either help you or hurt you.
There's no question, yeah, especially in this game. Whoever said football's a game of inches is really correct. Just in terms of, I mean, you have to be very consistent in applying your techniques, applying the fundamentals, and being able to anticipate the things that are going to happen to you through really good preparation during the week. And I feel like we probably have 85% of our active rosters doing that, but then that 15% gets on the field, and we're consistently making errors, and they're errors that cost you when you play against quality opponents. And we've had a stretch here, playing Carroll and then Eastern Oregon on the road, and then who's 13 now. Dickinson State was 11 when we played them, so it's not like we're playing chumps.
Yeah, well, and the special teams, the muffed kickoffs. I know you take pride in special teams, and that's probably you're scratching your head. One of those things that probably shouldn't have happened that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just it's the focus again towards just doing your duty, doing your job. Ball security being one of our number one items. We talk about the ball consistently and how important it is in every aspect of the game, and we do the drill work and the techniques and the fundamental preparation, but it comes down to 18 to 24-year-olds executing that, and we just had a lot of lapses there where, for whatever reason it was, you don't really know, you can't always pinpoint it, but they just happened all in that day.
I'm guessing at halftime then, instead of, fist pounding and pointing fingers and stuff like that, it was more just, come on guys, let's just settle down, let's just relax a little bit and execute.
Yeah, it was. You go in as coaches and you look and, see, okay, what haven't you used in your game plan? What are some, things that you need to work on and to maybe go to, adjust with, but there was none of that. It was basically just, I feel like some guys needed to hear some things they didn't want to hear, and then it's up to them. It's their choice to execute and to meet the standard, or to not meet the standard, and they decided to step up and to continue to play and meet the standard and do what they should have done from the get-go.
Well, the defense pitched to shut out the second half. Your offense got untracked. Pretty balanced attack on the ground and through the air, and so that's when you feel good, when all that comes together.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, like I said, I felt we played the game like we had intended to play the game in our game plan, but kudos to them too. They did a couple things there that in terms of a few defensive calls and some situations and that were unique and caught us off guard a couple times in the second half, but not very many things. It was kind of fun. Jason Thiers, the defense coordinator over there, he played for me at Truman State and was my defense coordinator here my first 2 years. So that was rewarding to play against him. He's a great young coach.
Now your offense is starting to emerge. Your players. Nate is still a little on the slow side with that hip pointer. Is he healthier now? How many snaps did he get against Dickinson?
He played most of the game. I think we have a good rotation there. I mean, we're averaging over 80 snaps a game right now on offense. So, I mean, that's a lot of snaps to play in a game. So you're going to need to have the rotation of players. And we're lucky to have enough quality guys to get in and to play, and that we can always trust to get the job done.
And speaking of injuries, how did you come out of the Dickinson game?
I think we really only had one injury in the game, but we'll see if that player can come back and play on Saturday, hopefully. So we're really in pretty good shape. We've got some guys who are nicked up, but we've also got some guys who are who actually came away better than they were before. So we're starting to get a little bit better. But it's a long season, and it ebbs and flows, and you have guys one game and you don't have guys another game, and that's again, that's part of why this is the greatest team sport there is. You next man up, you step up. That's your response factor there. I mean, how are you going to respond to the situations? And someone's always has to be ready to step up in every situation, and that's pretty cool about football.
Okay, homecoming weekend coming up. We're going to take a quick break and then be back to talk about the homecoming opponent and a little chat about Hall of Fame festivities. So we'll be back with more Extra Point right after this. Back to our edition of Extra Point, Bulldog football, and it's a holiday weekend, so to speak, in Bulldog land. It's the 2021 homecoming. You guys are hosting MSU Northern. MSU Northern winless so far, but as we've talked about, and I've talked about with other football coaches, sometimes the winless teams are the real scary teams.
There's no question. I mean, that's one of the things in this game. You've got to prepare. You've got to prepare the same way all the time. Everybody's good. Everybody has good coaching. They're bringing a product to the field that they can be successful with. And I felt for years, with Northern, just they're on the edge of exploding in terms of their offensive unit. They do things well schematically in that. They just had a hard time putting it all together over the years, and I just never want to be the team that they're going to explode on. And defensively, they're doing things the right way. Coach Van Diest's got them lined up right. He's got their eyes right, got their feet right. They're running to the football. So it's going to be a challenge to move the ball and score points against them. It's not going to be something that's just going to come easy or readily.
Well, and both teams are coming off long road trips. Northern played Southern Oregon in Ashland, Oregon, and I didn't get the miles, but I'm not sure if it was further from Havre to Ashland or from Dillon to Dickinson. It's as you like to say, you like to read on those long trips. I wonder if it's a 1-book or a 2-book bus ride.
It's a pretty good bus ride. Some books and some movies.
So anything, how do the matchups, how does our defense match up with against Northern's offense? Is there some areas that are easily exploitable, or is that something that Rob wants to keep until kickoff?
Well, they're going to be challenged to run the ball against us, and it's going to be hard for them to if our defensive front comes to play, it's going to be hard for them to handle those guys, especially in the run game. And as you saw in Dickinson, we just wore Dickinson State out, by the start of the fourth quarter, offensive line wise, and they were done. The shininess wore off. And so, that's going to be a challenge for Northern to deal with. And if we can generate some more pass rush, it'll be, a challenge for them in the pass game as well. But I think that's going to be the big thing they're looking at, is how we're going to control some clock and run the football and take a little pressure off of our quarterback.
Okay, well, let's kick off is 2 o'clock. Let's tell everybody it's not 1 o'clock. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff, and it is due. It's the official 2021 Hall of Fame / homecoming weekend. And inductees, there's some familiar names in Ryan Nourse's football resume.
Absolutely, yeah, with Bob Beers and Tommy Thomas going in, former coach and former teammate, and this, Coach Delaney's, a couple of his teams, 61 and 62, and Joe Morstein and some guys that I've gotten close with over the years. Pretty cool football weekend.
Well, and we've talked about the football network. And it seems like it's one of those networks, it just keeps growing. There's a starting point, but there's not an ending point. That's
one of the cool things about Western, that is, it is such a connected and connections type of place. This is a place that where relationships are really, I think, at the forefront. That's not necessarily common. Especially in a lot of the places that I've been. But in this game, when you play together and you coach together and you've done those things, and when you've had an incredible experience doing it, then the connections are, they're even stronger.
Well, Hall of Fame, also in the Hall of Fame, Megan Schmitz Graham, member of those Kevin Inglet championship basketball teams, Jennifer Gordon Tash in volleyball, Jarrett Monroe in rodeo. Poor Jarrett was supposed to have been inducted a couple years ago. The last time we were able to have a Hall of Fame festivities, he was living in Canada at the time. And as I remember, there was that fall blizzard that just basically shut down the whole area, and he was unable to make it. So we are honoring him this weekend too. And as you mentioned, the 61 and 62 Bulldog football teams who were champions of the Montana Collegiate Conference, that's the Frontier Conference's old name. And festivities get underway 9 a.m. At the Lewis and Clark Room. And then I believe the tailgating starts down at Vigilante Field around 11 o'clock. Glenn Johnson, president of the Bulldog Club, was in here, and their little corner is making jambalaya. Judy Syrian is supplying homemade cornbread. So it is a holiday. It's a Bulldog holiday this weekend.
Yeah, very good. I hope folks enjoy.
Well, Brian, we thank you once again for coming around and visiting with us, and hopefully we're talking victory when you return next week on Extra Point. And thanks for everyone watching, and we'll be back next time on Extra Point.